Welcome back to Tabletop Assault. I'm Ross, and today I'm going to continue my segments on analysing the Necron Codex. Today I'm going to have a look at the Tesseract Vault, one of the second Lord of War choices for the Necrons in the Codex, and certainly a little bit more useful. How this works is I'm going to have a look at the unit in the Codex, have a look at its stats, have a look at its war gear and special abilities, and afterwards I'll have a look at its loadout and role suggestion, along with anything else such as Dynasty codes and stratagem recommendations as well. So with that, let's have a look at the Tesseract Vault. So Tesseract Vault has varying movement from 8 to 6 to 4 as it does get damage, so it is quite slow. Weapon skill 6+, don't need to worry about because you don't really want to be in combat. It's given up the sort of Catan's combat capabilities to being entrapped inside a giant vault. Bliss skill is variable, going from 3 to 4 to 5, which is not bad. Again, it does do not bad shooting, but I'm not too worried about it. Strength 8, which we're not worried about. Toughness 7, so it did lose a toughness compared to the Monolith and the Obelisk. It is like an opened up version with a exposed Catan shard, but if it was toughness 8, oh boy, that would have been really nice. Wounds 28, so it's got 4 more than the Obelisk, making it really hard to bring down there. 3 attacks, which we're not worried about because it won't hit. Leadership 10 and a 3+ save. The Tesseract Vault is armed with 4 Tesla spheres, which are 24 inches, assault 5, strength 7, 0 AP, 1 damage. Each time it does hit with 6+, it does 3 hits instead of 1. 11 metal, so that you get an extra wound back at the start of your turn. With 28, you're probably going to bring back some unless your opponent concentrates firepower. Powers Catan, this model knows 4 powers Catan. It can use a number of different powers of the Catan equal to the number in the damage table above at the end of each of your movement phase. So if you're at maximum efficiency, it's 3, goes down to 2, then to 1. Trans-dimensional force field, this model has a 4-up invul, and that is very important compared to the Monolith and the Obelisk, which both don't have an invul save in any way. That adds up a huge amount of survivability. They don't have quantum shielding either. That 4-up invul is going to shake off a lot of the more dangerous shots at it. Vengeance of the Enchained, if this model is reduced to 0 wounds, roll a d6 before removing it from the battlefield. On a 4+, the trans-dimensional Catan contained within it takes their vengeance, and each unit within 2d6 suffers d6 mortal wounds. So that can really, you want this to be up close to really explode your opponent's face. It can take a lot of mortal wounds off stuff. So that's what we've got in the Codex. What is my thoughts and loadout suggestions for it? So this is kind of like the last of Necron brick units, and essentially the last in the Codex. This is the most useful one though by far, so I guess that's good. At one point this rocked the meta by taking 3 of them and a whole bunch of Catan powers to fry anything that came nearby with mortal wounds. However, with a fair point increase added onto it, and the coming of Knights really rocking the meta and making life a lot more difficult for them, they have been pushed a wee bit to the sideline. Still argue there's a fair bit of use for the Tesseract Vault, and also I think it looks awesome, which is kind of good. In terms of firepower, we are looking at the same as the Obelisk, 4 Tesla spheres with all the Tesla fun. At the end of the day, considering firepower, this one's kind of similar to the Obelisk, in fact just the same. All in, I'd put an alright amount of shots, but like the other bricks, it's more about the special abilities. But the difference is, this one's special abilities are super useful. I suppose it's kind of nice to have a trapped Catan shard inside of it, making it far more deadly with its Catan powers than the regular Catan powers. And this is where you would want to focus. Knowing 4 abilities and casting between 1 to 3 depending on the amount of wounds you have allows you to chuck out a fair amount of mortal wounds. Even better, most of these abilities activate with a better chance or more damage due to being augmented by Tesseract Vault. Again, what we want to achieve with the powers of Catan are kind of similar, however with the +1 and other boosts, this is just something to consider. So I will speak about these in a bit more detail than I did with the other Catans because I was kind of just going to look at my overview video, but this one I feel I should be in a little bit more detail. Antimatter Meteor, on a 5+, you cause d6 mortal wounds. Not bad, a reliable one to go by, essentially worth considering if to choose from the 4. It's got good range and activates really easily, and that just 5+ means a third of the activations should cause d6 mortal wounds, which is a bit nicer. Times arrow, so you need to exceed the wound value of a unit to slay them entirely, well, of a model. No ignore wounds, just shot down dead. However, most characters, their likely target are about 5 wounds, so with other things you would need actually a 6 to wipe them out of the face of the earth. And that's not likely to happen, but with the Tesseract Vault, say they do have 5 wounds, they need it, I think, on 5s, which with a reroll makes it a little bit more reliable. Frankly, you know, it's not bad, it may kill a sniper character, I wouldn't recommend it on the Contend Shard, but the Vault, yeah, I guess it can definitely help. Again, you have 4 abilities to consider, so like in priorities, it could be okay. Sky Falling Stars, a personal favourite with the Vault. Likely it's going to work against a fair few units, as you're usually, you know, 5-man squads you're going to be targeting. Obviously your opponent fields multiple smaller units, or if they're like Dreads, Knights, then yeah, that's going to be utterly pointless. Though if you're facing Knights, you've got a lot more worries. Cosmic Fire, again another favourite of mine, getting close and AoE explosion. Activate on 3+ can be devastating. Use the Deceiver to move this unit, and I believe the Deceiver, you can just move a Tesseract Vault up into close. Get first turn and then just AoE and just cause a whole bunch of Cosmic Fire. If you get first turn with the right position, this can be really, really good and really cripple your opponent. Terrible luck, well, like anything in this game, it does hurt. Seismic Assault, usually I would not recommend this one. If facing a 30-man squad, you're more than likely just going to cause 5 mortal wounds. But when this one activates on a 5+, you're likely to cause 10 mortal wounds. Now, when it comes to like Horde armies, then yeah, you've probably got other ways to cause as much damage. But again, you've got 4 abilities worth thinking about. Transdimensional Thunderbolt, I just don't recommend this one on Tesseract Vault. It's okay, but things like Sky Falling Stars, I personally think is better, and then Cosmic Fire, if you're up close, is going to cause infinitely more damage. I know people really recommend Transdimensional Thunderbolt, I just don't see it. I think it needs a little bit more of an upgrade. Like, I know you do like damage to one unit than other units around it. I prefer Cosmic Fire and which was it, Sky Falling Stars, but that's just me. Tell me why I'm wrong on that one, I'm intrigued to hear. Overall, my go-to ones would be, you know, something like Antimatter Meter in case of lone characters comes close by, then you can throw mortal wounds on them. Times Arrow, just in case like you do wounds on them but they don't die, then this is a good way to maybe finish them off, or just a stray ones walking by, then you can catch them. Sky Falling Stars cause multiple wounds to multiple units, and then Cosmic Fire just for that AoE effect, because when it works, it is good. I'd maybe exchange Antimatter Meter for Seismic Assault if I'm facing a Horde army, and in general I'm just not sold by Transdimensional Thunderbolt. Dynasty codes. So you do not benefit from Dynasty codes because you do have the Catan Shard keywords. However, you do still have the Dynasty like keywords, you just don't benefit from codes, like Dynasty codes, you don't benefit from them. But there is certain buffs you can. Take for instance like a Cryptek with a Cloak, it can heal you because you do have the same Dynasty keywords as it, which is very, very handy. Or say there's other like stratagems that do require Dynasty code, you do have it, you just don't benefit from the code, which is very, very handy. And there is one stratagem that I will mention that does help on that one. Stratagem recommendations, one would be Damage Control Override, 1 command point. Use the stratagem at the start of any turn, pick a Necron vehicle from your army. Until the end of this turn, use the top row of the vehicle damage table regardless of how many wounds it has left. This ends immediately if the model is reduced to 0 wounds. Actually really handy in the Vault, like a lot. Say you are lowest efficiency, then you have a little bit of extra movement, better shooting accuracy, and more importantly you've got 3 Catan powers to activate rather than just 1 if you're really damaged. This is nice, and where the Doomsday Arc may be the best target for this, Tesseract Vault really comes in probably second if it is in the if it's in the right position. So yeah, not bad and definitely worth thinking about. And lastly, an interesting one, this one, Reclaim a Lost Empire, 2 command points. Use the stratagem at the end of your turn. Select an Ayalaka unit from your army. If this unit is within 3 inches of an objective marker or it did not move for any reason during this turn, then until the start of your turn, you can add 1 saving throws made for that unit, increases the attack characteristic in that unit by 1. Simply, we don't care about the attack characteristic, that we're not bothered by. However, the +1 to your saving throws does mean you have a 3-up invul save, and that is a 20 wounds, toughness 7, 3-up invul. It's expensive for 2 command points, but your opponent may be like, a 3-up invul, how am I going to move that? It's really going to frustrate your opponent a wee bit. Something worth remembering and interesting, you can use it because you're Catan Shard, so you don't benefit from Legion codes, Dynasty codes, but you do have the Dynasty ability, so you can pull off some crazy other abilities, which I'd be interested to hear about. So thanks again for watching. Please comment, share, like and subscribe. I'm in an interesting conundrum finishing this. Depending when this goes out, I don't think Psychic Awakening Necrons will be out yet. So usually I would do an overview of Necrons at this point. And I actually might change up and not do it this time. Mainly because I think Psychic Awakening will change that. So I wouldn't maybe mind doing an overview video once Psychic Awakening comes out, which at this point may be a month or two away. I think that might be a bit more, people might prefer that we do a more in-depth, discussion on the Codex as a whole with Psychic Awakening. I think we might wait for that, but if you prefer me to do one now, I might do it, but I think it'll be overridden when Psychic Awakening comes out. Also as well, in that time frame, I've got to decide on what the next army is going to be, or whether I should do multiple units from different armies. People have been asking me to try and cover more codexes, so I might do that. Other one has been Forge World units, that's been heavily asked. That happened for both Chaos and for Necrons in this one. People going, can you cover a few Forge World? I'm interested to hear what people's suggestions are. I'm in a bit of a tricky bind at the moment, where if I was to go into, say, Custodes, which would be my go-to because it's a short codex, I know it well. Their Psychic Awakening isn't out yet as far as I'm aware, so I don't know in that one. I feel that I need to maybe do a variety of different units from different codexes, maybe cover some Forge World until Psychic Awakening is done. I don't know. So I'm interested to hear what people think formulaically what I should do on that one. What content would you enjoy the best? Just let me know and I'll do it. That's a really dangerous promise. I really wish I didn't say that. Thanks again for watching. Check us out on social media where you can see our upcoming projects, and also on Patreon to help support the channel, bring you more content. So thanks again, we'll see you on another Tabletop Assault Battle Reports.